Ready?
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Design Review Committee on Thursday, August 20, 2026. I now call the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Maddie, can you begin with a roll call?
Member Melissa Bates.
Here.
Member Getz.
Here.
Member Johnson.
Here.
Vice Chair Boyd.
Here.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates.
Here. Okay, we're going to start with the pledge. Shar, would you like to lead that today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda as presented?
I so move.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, having heard a motion and a second to approve the agenda, Maddie, would you please take a roll call vote?
Member Melissa Bates.
Approved.
Member Getz.
Approved.
Member Johnson.
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd.
Approved.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates.
Approved. Then we're going to move on to consent items. And Maddie, please introduce this item.
Items on consent are typically routine and will be approved in one motion. The chair will call on anyone wishing to address the committee on any consent item on the agenda which has not been pulled by the committee for discussion. Each speaker will be permitted to speak only once, and comments will be limited to a total time of 3 minutes.
Is there anybody who'd like to pull any items from the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull item D.
Item D? I think we don't need a motion for that, I don't believe. Correct, okay. So we're going to pull item D from the consent agenda, and I concur with you on that. So at this point, we're going to then start with in-person public comments first. Am I correct in the order here, Raphael? I'm bad at this. Okay. And this is for anyone in the room who would like to comment on items not on the agenda. No, on this one item. Help me with the form when we pull an item.
So it should be public comments for items that have not been pulled, and then from there, it's the items
you.
that have been pulled.
All right, so then with that said, we're going to move on to public comment on any items on the consent agenda. Anybody in the room? All right, I don't see anybody in the room on Zoom. Okay, any committee members, since we have that pulled, and having heard a motion then to approve the consent items with the exception of item 2D, can I have a motion, please?
I move we accept the consent items with the exception of item D.
I'll second that.
Okay, having heard a motion and a second, Maddie, roll call vote, please.
Member Melissa Bates.
Approved.
Member Getz.
Approved.
Member Johnson.
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd.
Approved.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates.
Approved. Okay, then we're going to circle back to consent item 2D that was pulled for discussion. Maddie, would you like to introduce that?
Sure. Approval for a revised sign program for senior center located at 1770 Maple Avenue, APN 139150024, planning application 26-025.
Okay, we're going to start with in-person public comments first. Anybody in the room who'd like to make any remarks regarding the senior center sign package? I'm looking at the applicants in the room. Well, yeah. Will you come up and identify yourself, please?
I am Brian with 805 Signs. I know most of you. We make a lot of the signs in town.
Yep.
And then I have Kathleen here with Solvang Senior Center.
I'm Kathleen Campbell. Many of you know that I've been involved in construction and fundraising for the senior center since 2018. And so, as you know, we were fortunate that Dr. Elings was willing to give us an extra $1 million, and Ian Jacobson gave us a $500,000 gift to secure Dr. Eling's $1 million. And what that allowed us to do was do better improvements on the project to begin with rather than phase the project. But one of the things that required was Dr. Elings deserved to have his name on the building. So Brian took our original designs, I believe, and what you see is those modifications, not tremendously different, but at the time that I met with him, we also realized, well, we face on Maple Street too. So we best kind of deal with small but wayfaring signs for Maple so that we could turn in a full and complete packet to you and get that taken care of all at one time. So thank you for your consideration of our packet.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room that'd like to speak on this? Anybody on Zoom that would like to address the senior center signage, item 2D? Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the committee. Comments?
I have a few. I've written them down so I wouldn't forget any of them. Well, first of all, I'm very excited about the new senior center, having moved my parents up here from Arizona. My concern is not so much with the organization, it's whether the proposed signage is architecturally compatible with its setting and with the visual character we're charged with preserving and solving. At the moment, the turquoise blue graphic and overall treatment feel more contemporary and institutional than site-specific. I would like to see the applicant explore a warmer, more restrained palette, more traditional topography, and sign materials that are better complement the architecture of Solvang's character. The turquoise itself, the blue feels out of place. It looks like a medical or a corporate building. I think of a more muted, like a heritage palette, like a deep green burgundy, a warm cream, or bronze would feel a little more integrated. So, you know, if we can take a look, I know it's hard without having our guidebook with the colors that, you know, you can kind of reference. I'm not sure if you did that or not.
The turquoise, just so you know, is the senior center logo. It's not a random color. If you look at our website, that is our branding. So all we did was take, and the other color that's used in there is a burgundy brown, so it goes to your terracotta idea, just so you know. But that, we redid our entire logo. So if you need us to change the color not to match our logo, or if it being out on the signs that are at the edge. I also am not sure if we're in the TRC, so is it super important that we match a Danish color scheme if we're kind of in, even that building design is more Mediterranean to match the Veterans Memorial Building.
I think
So
there's
that's
like
all
a lot of competing like type styles, like Ealing Square, Solvang Senior Center, the Center. They all have like different, like a visual personalities. They're not like simplified. And I think like the 10-foot wide wall logo could be something like Ealing Square, Solvang Senior Center, and then the smaller serving Solvang in the San Ynez Valley. I think you could eliminate the center. There's really no need for that.
I just need to check on a protocol here with the interaction back and forth.
I'd like to interject too, and I can.
Okay, Raphael, is this
Thank you.
appropriate? I've closed public comment. Do I need to reopen?
At this point, you can ask questions of the applicant, but I would err on reopening it to public discussion once the question and answer is completed by the applicant. And I do want to remind the DRC that signage is time, place, manner. So I understand that our ordinance does have traditional Danish motifs, but and also this property is not in the VMU. It is actually in the public zone. So just
Okay.
two reminders.
Thank you.
So Brian, yes, please.
The Sherwin-Williams, the teal turquoise, it's just a shell. It's not going to be anywhere else.
That's it? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Everything else is a Durnotic bronze, and it's like San Ynez History Museum has a brushed vertical bronze. I mean, it's what we do in old world buildings. I think the SW 2808, that's the urban bronze. It's what a lot of the buildings are that have that kind of greenish, dark brownish kind of half timbers and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
that's what I like.
the fonts, it's a different font. Center is Garamond, and then everything else is one consistent font, different sizes. But we have old world fonts. We don't have anything super modern, but there aren't hodgepodge mixed matched fonts. They're different sizes and different spots.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions of applicants, since we've got the applicants still here?
No, I do have a comment, though. To me, the
Melissa, why don't we hang on a second, then
go
we'll
ahead.
we'll close, we'll thank you for stepping back up,
Okay,
and I need
fine.
to reopen it to public
okay,
comment.
all right.
So, I'm going to reopen to public comment, the senior center, item 2D. Anybody in the room? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, closed again. Melissa?
Okay. I like the turquoise teal. I mean, it's a nautilus shell, and that's consistent with the coloring of a nautilus shell. So if it was bronze, we'd be worried about it. I mean, it'd be showy, but I agree. It is consistent with the design and what you are representing. So I'm okay with the turquoise.
Any other comments? Do we want to have a motion?
I would move to approve this. Is that
If
fine
you'd
for
like.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Before we go to vote, I just wanted to make a comment and wanted to note that I am pleased to see this come in front of our body for discussion. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to have the senior center signage be commented on publicly, and happy that we pulled it off consent. And at this point, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please? Oh, and complimenting the senior center on getting to this stage in the process. I came at the last minute because I was at a little preview of their furniture for the new facility. So we're excited it's getting near the finish line. Roll call, please.
Member Melissa Bates,
Approve.
Member Getz,
Approved?
Member Johnson,
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd,
Approved.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates.
Approved. Okay, so now we're going to go on to public communications, non-agenda. And we're going to, okay, do you want to go ahead and introduce that, Maddie?
Sure. This section is intended to provide members of the public with the opportunity to address the committee on items not on the agenda. This section is limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will be afforded 3 minutes and may speak only once. State law does not allow the committee to discuss or act on issues not on the agenda except to briefly respond or to ask staff to follow up on such items.
Okay, we're going to start with in-person public comments first. This is for items not on the agenda. Anybody in the room? I don't see anybody. Anybody on Zoom? Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to discussion items. And staff, please introduce item 4A.
Discussion to consider granting a sign exception for a proposed ground sign located at 475 5th Street, APN 139171011. Planning application 26-024.
Thank you, Maddie. Good evening, DRC members. So this evening we do have a few items on the discussion agenda. First one being 475 5th Street. The site is zoned Village Mixed Use, or VMU, and its general plan designation is tourist-related Village Commercial. So the applicant this evening is proposing primarily a new ground sign. However, it's approximately 30 square feet. It is as a discussion item and not a consent item because the proposed lettering exceeds the maximum height that is within our sign ordinance, which is 18 inches. They're proposing 18 inches. The proposed height is approximately 6.5 feet in height, as measured from the base to the very top. And then the applicant is proposing external illumination utilizing LED bulbs at a low lumen to illuminate the sign. Additionally, as a part of this application, the applicant is proposing window lettering graphics throughout the site at approximately 10 square feet each. So this is a picture that was included in your packet, as well as the sign applicant's package that is the attachment. The dominant frontage is 60 feet, linear feet. The subordinate is 235 linear feet. So for just a clarification, our code currently delineates the dominant frontage. Dominant frontage is where the front door is, and the subordinate frontage is where any side entrance is. So the total square footage that is proposed is 40 square feet, and that is consistent with our signed ordinance. So the following table is pulled directly from our sign ordinance regulations. As you can see, the max sign, it does meet that, as well as the height. It's the letter, max lettering that is requiring a sign exception in which the applicant is seeking before you this evening. The window lettering max height also is met, as well as the transparency per window. It's only 8 inches, which is less than the 25% that is required by the code. So the applicant is requesting a sign exception for the lettering, and the applicant's rationale is that the larger letters are intended to make the business name easier for motorists to recognize. And so as a reminder of signs have rhyme and reason and purpose. In this instance, a ground-mounted sign is specifically addressed for motorists who are passing by to readily identify the business. The existing 8-inch limit reduce readability from a distance and requires drivers to spend more time looking at the sign. City staff has actually made a tweak in its proposed ordinance, which is not before you this evening, but just to let the DRC know that that proposed ordinance does bump that the max letter height to 12 inches. But in this instance, that would still be above what the proposed ordinance is. And then the overlay stylized S is a defining feature of the Solvang Market logo, and sort of is both a letter and a graphic element in what the applicant is as a part of the applicant's requests. And so the applicant is stating that the letters uniformly at 8 inches would, according to the applicant, distort the logo and create an awkward or less professional looking sign. So with that being said, there is as a part of applications that come before the DRC, we do have to make a CEQA determination, or California Environmental Quality Act. And the proposed project is categorically exempt from CEQA with a Class 301 existing facilities exemption. So the DRC does have some decision points as a part of this item before you this evening. You will need to make a required finding for the sign exception as indicated in your staff report. You just need to make one of the findings that are in that staff report. You as a committee could request changes to the proposed signage. Any modifications should be clearly articulated to the applicant. These modifications may either be reviewed at city staff level prior to installation, and that should be very clear of what we're looking for. A ground sign would require a building permit, so that is our opportunity to take a look at that, just an FYI. Or you can direct the applicant to return to the DRC, and so the applicant would have to revise their application and come back before you. The other option is that the committee could vote to deny the proposed signage. This committee should make the required findings for denial, and we can help you out with that, myself and Dave, who's on the line. And then a denial would not allow for the installation of the signs requested at this location, particularly the ground-mounted sign. So with that, I'll open up to any questions that the committee members may have.
Raphael, can I start by asking, you give the size of the letters, but I believe the letter height of 18 inches, does that apply to only the S in the Solvang on the sign?
Yes, it only is the S.
And what are the heights of the other letters?
It is in your packet, but Brian, the applicant, is here to answer that question. So,
okay. Hold on, Brian, just a minute. We'll see if there's other questions of staff. Other questions?
L is 13 inches.
L is 13. Thank you. I missed that.
G.
And the G is?
Yeah, and the OVAN are 8.
Okay. Wow. I missed all of that. Thank you.
I have a question about lighting. Raphael, do you know if that's dark sky compliant?
So lighting for signage is not specific in our ordinance currently. So it's tough to do a dark sky compliant. It is shielded and it is using low-level LED bulbs, so it'll get as close as you can. But you're battling two forces at the same time when it comes to illumination. The point of illumination is so you actually see it during the evening. But the applicant has done enough at this instance, which is why it's not called out in the staff report for any exceptions to meet our standards.
Would it be on all night?
That is a great question for the applicant.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be a compromise in my mind, but yeah.
Other questions of staff?
I want to know if there's a need to really have all 10 windows branded. You already have a large enough sign, right, 30 square foot ground sign. Do we need to have 10 additional signs in each of the windows?
That's a great question for the applicant. I'll speak specifically to the ordinance itself. The ordinance doesn't limit the amount of lettering. Again, that's part of the issue with our ordinance in general. The proposed ordinance does place a limit in terms of how many signs such as these you can utilize. So there's a big difference between the two. But again, we're not talking the proposed this evening. But there is that difference between the two ordinances. So that's a great question for the applicant to answer.
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay, great, because that to me is really repetitious.
We're just doing staff
Oh,
right now.
okay.
Yeah, and definitely a good applicant question on my list as well. Any other questions of staff? Okay, so now we're going to move on to public comment, and this might be a good time for the applicant or Brian and Signmaker to step forward.
Yeah, so Brian, and anything else I have Sang here too. He's the property owner, business owner. Okay, so the windows, we're doing about a 1 square foot decal on each one. Repetitive, if you think so, we can cut them down. I don't think there's a huge need to do all of them, but he also has passersby that don't know that he's there, especially since the sign fell down. So it gave us an opportunity to make a new logo, and we presented about 6 options. Some were all 8-inch letters, but it was kind of much better looking with the S being larger and using a more kind of scripty font rather than normal 8-inch. And we made it say Solvang is what has the big part. So maybe people come into Solvang and see it. I've seen it forever. So it'd be nice to have something.
I really
nice.
like the topography. I like the colors that you chose. It's
Thank
gonna
you.
Stand out. I think it's going to be a really nice sign.
Thank you.
But I would like to see less signs in all the windows.
Yeah.
10 is just, I
Concur.
feel overkill.
Yeah.
I think the most important one was the one that's on 5th Street there.
Right.
And we,
Or oak.
or is it,
It's Fifth, and then the one that's kind of facing the hotel, there's 3 of them there, kind of at the
Right.
entrance in a row.
Oak.
And then 6 that face Mission Drive along with the big sign.
Right, right, right.
And the signs are, you know, when you look at a sign that's like this is an 11-inch piece of paper, that sign on the window. And because the lettering isn't, you know, it's not cut out letters, that's just the letters. This is an opaque sign. It's going to, you know, be substantial. So my concern, I echo your thoughts on that, that there's a proliferation of signs that seem, window signs that seem unnecessary there.
maybe we do the one on 5th, one in the parking lot, like the middle window. Mm-hmm. And then we'd need to decide what to keep and eliminate on the front.
Perhaps we give you something like, I don't know, 1 or 2 or something on the front. And looking back at the picture here. There we go.
Yeah, no, I think I like this, and I think that one is important, the rest of them can
We're looking at,
The middle ones is what you're looking
go. I
at?
think this one is
keep
good,
this one.
and I
Yes.
think this one is
and
good,
then
Right.
maybe
and the rest
pick-
can go.
And the ones facing Mission?
I really don't think you need
It's
any of them.
not necessary.
I would agree that, that it's, definitely I flagged it in mine. I would say that if you need one on the door, because it shows where the door is, but,
Sure.
but none of these are doors facing, no, there's a door facing this way.
Maybe just both
The middle.
front doors.
So each door, there's a door, a sliding door on each side here.
Mm-hmm.
These 2.
Right. These guys.
in the front.
in the front, the two front doors,
And then,
And then one
Doors
facing,
off to the side
and then
on
one
either
facing
side.
the Fifth Street.
one facing Fifth and one facing
Correct.
the hotel next door.
Correct.
Um,
So like the one on Fifth, the one right here, which I think, because as you're driving in, that's the first thing you see his door, but then you're gonna see that window.
That's what you were talking about, Brian, I believe, was the middle one there on the side facing the parking lot, the hotel.
Right.
Oh, in the parking lot side, yeah.
Yeah, so do the middle one.
So like the very first one by your front door is important.
Oh, yeah, maybe that, they're saying we could keep this one. That would make sense to me. It's closest to the
Absolutely.
door.
So the
I
first
agree.
one
Yep,
makes
Okay.
sense,
Okay.
right by the front door,
yep,
because that's the first thing you're gonna see, and it also guides them to your door.
perfect,
Definitely the one on Fifth,
okay.
right? The rest of them though, in the front, I think we can take,
They don't seem to make your business any more attractive or visible
right,
I
from,
love your front, I mean, I love the front, I just wouldn't put all that
Yeah.
there.
yeah, it's just
It's-
cluttered.
It is.
Yeah, it's
I'm-
just, it makes
Is
it
it,
cluttered.
can I talk?
Sure.
yes.
In my mind, I mean, I just had this idea because without any signs, I mean, I've been running the business without any signs on the window past 27 years.
Yeah.
And it just was not aesthetically beautiful at all because I put this huge this slab wall inside the store for internal uses, but it kind of blocks the view from the outside. And I get this comment from customers, from either local, tourists, they all saying one thing, it looks like a closed shop. And that's the original idea why I come up with this. I had gotta do something. So my plan here is not only also, have in my mind that I'd like to make sure it is a active business, but then want to give it some accent that aesthetically pleased, rather than it looks like a closed shop. So what I'm saying here is I'd like to have the sign as many as I could, and that is the also same intention with you folks talking, making it look pretty. And I'm not sure what you might, think is overkilling or, distracting for having one too many. But we're looking at the same side of coin, only on a different perspective. So I'd like to, consider that fact. Thank you.
We could consider the entrance doors as well. For anybody that's walking up to the entrance that doesn't know, what is this? The ground sign's out there, but, where am I? Maybe, and I don't have a picture of the
The-
doors, or,
Because they face the other way, right,
Yeah,
Brian?
so there are two entryway doors.
Yeah,
On page 5, you can kind of see the one door on the one side.
so they kind of mimic each other. So maybe we need one, is there any other thing on that, or could it go there?
No, nothing. You can put in, definitely go in there.
so what I think that I'm hearing is that a compromise here, we haven't gotten to the sign yet, because, the sign has a lot of exceptions. We're going to discuss that further, but for the windows, that there be a sign allowed at each entrance. And I know that the entrance isn't used, and then, of course, the one facing Fifth, although it's not used, we want to have a sign Fifth, one by the entrance to the parking lot, and one at each of the entrances at the front there.
Yeah, I think that would help, because there's no wall sign that says, oh, yeah, you're at Solvang Market. So
Right.
if we
Yeah.
get this vinyl on the door, that would do it. There'd be no question, where am I?
Yeah,
So eliminate the 6 across the front and have one on each door.
correct.
Yeah.
Same size,
I-
bigger
Uh,
on the door.
well, I mean, it could technically be bigger.
I mean, do you have a sign that says open lit up in the doorway? No,
No, you can't have that.
Maybe.
okay,
Yeah, that's against code.
Do you have a little flipper sign that says open?
No.
no,
Oh.
okay.
Then,
Tried it, but
Curious.
it all-
yeah, I would recommend that. Just the little old-fashioned, it's open, it flips, it's closed. And if it has the hours on it, even better. And you are allowed to do that.
Anything is better, but it's just not visible at night.
Yeah,
That's the problem of that flipping signs.
yeah.
Well, you're going to have your beautiful new sign that's going to be beautifully illuminated out front. So I think we've got a consensus for when we do get to a motion for window signs. So let's go ahead and move on to the ground sign then. I'm looking at page 9, and then we have the font. Well, page 2 has more. What page is it that you've got all the, oh, here we go. And 8 with the scale there. This sign sits at kind of a historic deli market, kind of location. Been there for many decades. Great to see you getting it a little freshened up, and encourage you to continue with that on the lovely patio out front. Color palette is lovely introduction to Solvang, and as I look at this with your Solvang, which is oversized, it's almost a little bit of a gateway entry sign as well as your market sign, and I believe it will attract visitors and customers into your store. And although I see exceptions that are outside of what's ordinarily allowed, that the height here fits with the scale of your building, with its setback from a busy intersection, and it looks, well, it fits with the rest of the neighborhood as well as your location, which gives me confidence that the exception works for your sign. Committee members, comments to go along with that?
No, I like it. I think it's attractive. It does kind of anchor the property, especially, if people are going 30 miles an hour, catches the eye. I think it's very attractive.
You're very optimistic on the speed by there.
Oh, that's how I drive it.
And the idea of having a lovely planter bed there, I think, adds another element and a charm to it as well. And I encourage you to do that and keep that up as well.
There's already established roses, so
Yeah.
we're going to frame those in and make it look really nice.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty.
The lighting, we went back and forth with the electricians for days, and then the lighting guide companies, and so they finally found the nice shielded fixtures with the bulb that can be dimmed, because he doesn't want it on all the time. So I think that'll probably shut off at some point at night. But that, and then just making Solvang work. We did the same thing with the coffee house by Chomp, where the C is much taller, but it whips around to the bottom, and it became a design element for it, and it worked out really well. So the similar kind of design that we did with this one.
And I see that you've got the, it's got the raised letters, so it's got the dimensionality to it, which is important as well. And our drawing with the lighting seems very big on the shield. Is that just kind of not to scale? I hope you were more successful at something that wasn't a Frisbee-sized cover there.
It's just a design that I had to put an oval.
Okay.
But you can see the gooseneck. The company didn't have like the exact size. It's just kind of, here's the color. You choose the color, choose the length. We were looking at 14-inch shielded shades. They do make them a little bit smaller if we needed to go smaller. They make them bigger as well. But my drawing is not the actual light. The light is in the picture on the left there.
I'd like to encourage that the lighting fixtures be minimal size to do maximum output. In other words, make them as small as you can to be able to cover a potential 80-inch sign.
Sure, and I think I put the packet for what they come in. So they have 14, 12, and 10. So if
Saw
we can
that.
make a decision now, we can do either. The design, I did mark them about 14 inches for that kind of Frisbee shape. So that is roughly to the right perspective. So if we want to go to 12 or 10, I don't think it matters on our end.
And to clarify, on the sign specs, it says 4 lights, but we're only using 2, right?
No, there's going to be
2 on each
one
side.
two
On the opposite side?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's dual-sided.
Yeah, it's dual.
And then you
That
really
makes
shouldn't
sense.
see each light from the other side. It's going to come and hang over in
Okay.
front of the sign.
Right.
So, yeah, and we don't want the light to come and go
Shine
towards
over, yeah.
cars, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would suggest that make it the 10-inch if that does an adequate job make it so that the light shade is not, ideally that kind of disappears visually into the background rather than being a design element.
What do you think? Sang's wondering if we can do 12.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Thank you.
and then I do have a question about, you said that it wouldn't be always on. Can you quantify when you would have it dark?
Yeah, it'll be on the timer, so probably I was thinking it goes off at midnight and then comes back on whenever it gets dark outside. But it'll be like 7, 8,
What are your
It is.
hours?
Yeah, what,
Yes.
until 11,
okay,
7 till 10.
yeah, okay, thank you.
So leaving it on for an hour after you're closed, I would recommend that when you leave, the light goes off.
Right,
Then you won't have customers walking up after hours thinking you were open because the sign's off. So,
Okay, so we'll do off at close for those lights. Got it. And we got the warm color temp at the 2700K. I
Yes.
think the 850 lumens each is going to be fine, but they are dimmable just in case it's too bright. So
Okay.
we'll find that because we don't want it to be blinding, obviously. But I don't think 850 is an incredible amount of lumens, but it'll be nice to dim it if needed.
yeah.
Just
okay.
make sure it's secured.
Yeah.
All right.
We have a big
Um,
storm again.
So we have a few items to note along with the motion. Does somebody want to start that, or do we want to have staff read back some of our qualifiers here?
You want to take a stab at it?
Yep. Go.
To allow for DRC is recommending approval, and I'm going to go with, so we'll start with the sign exception. DRC will make a finding for section 11, 13, 14F. It appears that 2 would be the appropriate one, is a sign for which the exception request is non-conforming sign that acts as a neighborhood landmark or focal point while not disturbing views of prominent community landscape features, because it is the first thing you see in the entryway
Agreed.
coming in the city. With that being said, as a part of that, the applicant will utilize the 12-inch diameter lighting style with 8,500 lumens, warm color temp, dimmable, and with the sign to be off at the close of business. For the vinyl signage will be reduced with vinyl signs allowed for on the primary entryways, which is two entryways off of Mission Drive, one vinyl decal with the parking lot that is facing Mission Drive, and one vinyl decal that is facing 5th Street.
Yep, and the only thing I might say is with the light, 12 inches or smaller gives the option. Yeah. Anybody want to say that? Well,
Word for word?
no, just say what he said.
I
Make that
motion to approve what Raphael said.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, Maddie, roll call vote, please.
Member Melissa Bates,
Approve.
Member Getz,
Approved.
Member Johnson,
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd,
Approved.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates.
Approved. And I'd like to thank the applicant and
Looking
Brian
forward to seeing it.
for working with us.
So am I. It'll be fun.
It's really a pleasure seeing a sign that takes into account our cultural, kind of old world look and such a highly visible place.
I'm glad you folks like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, then we're going to go on to item 4B. Staff?
Discussion to consider sign exceptions for an additional hanging signage, wall signs, and facade repaint for an existing building located at 1661 Mission Drive, APN 139142010, planning application 26-027.
Thank you, Maddie. We have all the things on this one. The proposed project is is located at 1661 Mission Drive. It is zoned Village Mixed Use, or VMU. The general plan designation is tourist-related village commercial. So the applicant is proposing multiple items as a part of this application. The first one is a new wall sign mounted on the railings above the first floor, totaling 7 square feet with 8-inch lettering. The second one is proposed new double-sided ground sign monument, totaling 6 square feet in size, which is replacing the existing ground signage on site. Additionally, the applicant is proposing a total of 2 proposed hanging signs, each at 4.37 square feet, totaling 8.75 square feet total. And then the applicant is also proposing a facade repaint of the existing colors to a new proposed color scheme utilizing creamy white with warm yellow and mint green accent colors. The proposed rendering was included in your staff report, and then the applicant. And we'll focus on the colors themselves. City staff did direct the applicant to provide samples which were in your packets, but also color test samples that were on the building itself. The blue area is the creamy white, the trim is the yellow, and unfortunately my photo is not as good on the door, but it is a green color that is on the door. So again, as we outlined in our staff report previously, the objective design standards calls out for a color handbook, which we are working on, but that has not been adopted yet. So it is up to the committee to decide the colors on that. As for the proposed signage, this is an image, again, also included in your staff report, that includes the proposed signage. So the 2 signs on the left-hand side are the proposed hanging signs. The smaller sign that's in the middle, which is the main brand sign, is proposed to be located on the railings above the door and on the second floor. And then finally, the ground sign, and this is would replace the existing ground sign that is there today. So the proposed project does have a multitude of signage that is there. There are 2 signs that are called out for exceptions. The first one is the wall sign, not due to this sign face nor the letter height, but in terms of the height itself, which is 2/3 above the height of the windows. So again, they will require an exception for that. The ground monument sign is consistent with the code, and then the hanging signs, what makes it not consistent is the request for 2 of the hanging signs, because there is 1 per site that is allowed. So to go over the requested sign exceptions this evening, the applicant is requesting a sign exception for the wall sign. It is the preferred sign location is on the upper patio railing, and proposing to install it, requiring the sign to be both horizontal and rail supports approximately 2 feet apart. Just to note a little bit of history, a previous sign was approved above in the same location in May 2019 by the then what is it? I want to say Branding Review Committee, but it's not. Architectural Review Board, thank you, ARB. However, there was nothing indicated an exception was made, so I don't know, but I know that it was passed and by the past iteration of the DRC. The building does have 3 public entrances, and so there are 2 existing projecting signs would maintain a balance and intentional appearance per the applicant, and this is for the 2 hanging signs, and that the 2 hanging signs are there to identify 2 distinct business offerings that are within the business itself, which is one a tasting room and the other one which is a charcuterie market. So the applicant feels that having these 2 signs gives that ability for folks that are passing by to realize that there are 2 different types of business activities on the site. So again, similar to the previous project, we do need to make a CEQA determination, and that is that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA 15301 Class 1 existing facilities. So these are your decision points this evening. DRC will need to make a decision regarding the proposed facade repaint. And then the DRC will need to make the required findings for the sign exceptions as indicated in the staff report. Similar to the last item, the committee could request changes to the proposed signage. Any modification shall be clearly articulated to the applicant, and these modifications may either be reviewed at a staff level. So in the instance of both the ground monument sign and the wall sign, those do require building permits. The hanging signs do not, since they are utilizing existing hardware. And if you don't want to direct staff to approve those can return to the DRC. The third is the committee could vote to deny the proposed signage. The committee should make the required findings for any denial of the proposed signage, and so the applicant would not be able to put those in. They can be denied some, all, parts, and then also as far as the colors go, the DRC can weigh in on the color scheme that is being proposed. So with that, I will turn back to the DRC for any questions they have of city staff.
I would like to ask a couple of questions. One is in regards to the sign from the railings up above. They're asking for an exception to allow it to be the 2 feet to scale up the sign. It appears from the rendering in the packet that they're also scaling up the lettering in the sign. Is it just the physical sign, or is it the contents of the sign as well?
It's the physical sign. It's not the lettering. The lettering meets, again, based on what has been submitted to staff, the lettering meets that. It is a rendering, a photo rendering, so depending on the skills that you have, sometimes they just blow up, and then when you scale it, it scales everything at the same time.
Right, that's my question.
Yeah.
Is it the board, so to speak, that's scaling, but the...
That is a question then to have of the applicant, because
Okay.
again, we're only looking at what is submitted to us, and if it meets the criteria based on what is submitted, then that's what we provide to you.
Okay, and the ground sign is actually in the wooden planter. There's the kind of superimposed flowers in the picture that we have, but it's in that wooden ground planter.
I would strongly assume it is going to be in that wooden ground planter. I know the applicant has discussed removing those planters and rebuilding them, but again, that's not a part of this application, so that is a great question for the applicant.
All right, and then my last question is, I believe, I don't see anything about dimensionality on any of these signs. I see a lot of talk about, I believe it is aluminum.
And paint.
And again, dimensionality is not a part of your sign ordinance, so at this point, so that is I will defer to time, place, manner on that.
I see in answer to one of your questions, Esther, that it says that the ground sign will have one leg affixed in the planter and the other in a terracotta ceramic pot.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from the sign, so, okay, thank you. People that read the fine print very well, thank you. But not as it's shown here, terracotta pot, thank you. Who else has questions for staff?
I do. Is the applicant here?
Yes, the applicant is here.
Oh, hi. It's so quiet. No, no. First of all, I like the overall look.
This is staff.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like the overall look.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that the applicant over there is trying to create a cohesive identity to the property. However, looking at the signs rendered, I think that there's a few concerns. The topography is really pretty and elegant, but it's super fine. And I
Sure.
Yep.
This is a staff question?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm worried that there's no identification off of the street, that it's going to be really, really hard to read. So is this all to, scale? This is it, right?
Again, that is what is provided by the applicant, and we are checking based on our code. So,
And this was all
that's
the-
provided. That's provided by the applicant, and so if the applicant states that the letter height is going to be X, Y, and Z, that is what we have to go off of.
Okay. Yeah, because I would really like to see it heavier and bolder for identification for people that are driving by.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Jennifer?
So that's that, okay.
I do have a question for staff. The freestanding sign with the foam core, the temporary sign, is that part of our sign ordinance? Is that allowed?
It's not addressed in the current ordinance. I know the grand opening open now sign is, and it does meet the criteria. It's actually done by city staff. I was debating whether it even include this page simply because we can approve that at a staff level. It requires a separate fee typically, but since we don't want to fee them many, many times, we just include it into this package. As far as the non-civic event sign, this would again, that's a temporary sign. It's mobile. Our sign code doesn't really define that. It does in the proposed ordinance, and it would be non-conforming. But again, you can't make a decision based on the proposed. So at this point, our code is silent on it.
And then just
But we can certainly chime in on that.
on the proposed ordinance, is that coming before us next month?
I don't want to get into the details of that. We should focus on this item and this item only and what is currently in the books today.
Right. I'm just curious as the agenda.
Just
I think we'll come back at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so concluding staff questions, I think we can open it up to public comment. So anybody in the room who'd like to speak? I think I see several people here. Okay, come on up, state your name, and we'll start the listening.
Yeah, Brian, 805 Signs. We've been making carved signs for 16 years, and they haven't let us do flat signs. So I hear maybe flat aluminum signs. If I can do that, great. I can make them fast and cheap and really quick. But for 16 years, we've had to do carved. So that's just my statement. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Any other public comments? Come on up. I believe we have the applicant coming. If you could identify yourself.
Good evening, board members. My name is Yaku. I'm the business owner over there. We were so excited to move into that space to start this business. It's just myself, my wife, and I guess our 2 kids that's tackling this project. I'm happy to answer some of the questions and points that was brought up. First of all, for the sign flatness, three-dimensionality of it, it's not a flat sign. Is that the concern that it's completely flat?
The materials and as Brian mentioned, the having raised lettering, having a dimensionality that makes it appear as though it's a hand-carved sign are the hallmark of Solvang.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely. So you guys will be happy to know that is how it is. The sign's thickness is about 1.5 inches. That's going to be standing out from what we're putting it on. It's professionally made. It's all weatherproof, won't fade. And so this goes with our theme, Summer Bella, which is a very European stylistic theme that we're bringing into the space with the flowers, and you guys will see with the brand that we're bringing in there. Mediterranean, European cocktails and non-alcoholic cocktails is basically what we're doing there. So the sign has got dimensionality in it. As for the size of it, the Olive House sign, and I actually forgot to take a photo right now, but it had 2 beams going down the railing, and it was just to affix the sign so it sits securely there, so you don't see the railing at the top or the bottom. I do have it in there in the ordinance on the bottom saying we exempt the sign to be increased proportionally so that it reaches both the upper and lower horizontal railing members. Meaning, I think it would look odd if we had the sign be bigger and the sign is just going to be white at the back, raising to the top and the bottom, but the actual House of San Rebella would be smaller in the middle. And so as the Olive House sign is thick, it's in your packet. As an example, they also had their letters almost going from the top to the bottom just to kind of fill out that space. It is quite far back from the street
Right.
and up high and behind a tree, and it would just look much better, saying the House of San Rebella filling in that space, top to the bottom of the railing. There is still some space below that sign, all the way to the floor, which is basically the gap where the bottom horizontal bar, the gap between the floor, the patio, the up second floor patio and the bottom horizontal bar.
So what I'm hearing means that the lettering is going to exponentially grow as well, and now we're outside of
Exactly, and
you
that's
know,
the
letter height.
exemption. And so the height right now would be 1 foot, 1.16 in height, and 6 feet wide. And if I didn't get up there when I submitted this, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure it's close to or less than 2 feet is the horizontal bars, or horizontal bars from the railing. And so the letters would fill out that space, yes.
But it would still be the 6 feet wide, but 2 feet tall.
Or if I'm going to explain,
Or excuse me,
4 feet.
4 feet, yeah.
no, it is 6 feet. We're looking at the wall sign.
Could it not be attached to the vertical members of the railing as
Well,
well, and you
they-
wouldn't have to make it any taller?
So they actually, as I mentioned before, that's how the previous sign, and I forgot to take a photo because I just noticed it a few days ago. There is vertical members that goes from the top horizontal to the bottom horizontal that the sign was actually attached to, which was the Olive House sign. It's still sitting there on the railing for however long they haven't been there. So that's how they attached it. It's on the verticals, but if you look at the railing, and I don't have a good photo of that right now. It is on the, if you look at the photo under the
Page.
Horticolor page, there's no page numbers, and I apologize for that.
Oh, okay.
There's one main pillar in the middle, right in the middle of the top level window. And then those two thicker white pieces you see to the left and the right is the actual supports that the Olive House put on the railing to be able to support the sides of that sign. That doesn't actually go to the patio floor. So there's only one vertical member on that railing.
Is there a reason you
center.
can't reuse the Olive House?
Oh, no, I could. I'll replace it because it's old wood, but I can replace
Yeah.
it. But it would still mean that I would have to make it wider, and if I have to make it wider, I have to make it bigger.
You could put all kinds of backing behind it to put it
Yeah.
wherever you wanted to put it. It wouldn't have to necessarily match the structure that's there.
Absolutely, and that's my previous point where I feel like that space is going to look quite empty if you have a bigger white sign or our brand sign floating in that white space. If you just make a ton of white space around it, I think it would look much better, like the Olive House example there, where it's like framed and fit to the space that's supposed to be there. I don't think it's going to be. It is not exponential. It's in ratio bigger, but yeah, it will be the exact same size that they had. And I know that's long ago, but if looking at the photo, it looked good from the street view that I saw, and I'm going to assume that do the same for us, for passerbys and seeing what it is. If it's not there, we'll have to do it on the wall above the window where the previous tenant's sign was. But just looking at that, since we are taking both spaces or the space entirely at the bottom, it just frames the building really nice, and it's going to give people the name at the top there, being able to see what it is, and it kind of overshadows the patio where everybody would be sitting under the tree and enjoying a cocktail.
Can you pop that picture up on the screen, Raphael, so that the people in the room know what we're talking about? I still am not sure why it needs to be bigger. I mean, bigger than it is shown at the 1.16 by.
I just think
Yeah.
the size of the topography is too fine and delicate to see from the street,
Which is part of the reason why
you know?
they're
color
scaling
of it.
up. Yeah.
No, totally, but I think
Yeah.
it has to be bolder, you know?
We can make the letters
It's
thicker.
pale
That's
gold lettering, right?
yeah.
So it's really going to be hard to see.
It's got a we have it on the current brand cars, and it works really well because it stands out and it's elevated. It's three-dimensional, so it looks really, really good. And we can make the letters thicker if the community
That's-
decides that's the reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it hasn't been of note before that you can see it from that far. And if you do make it bigger, the letters would become bigger, which would also increase visibility of it.
I think that if you did the dimensionality, which is raising the letters, or of course carving them out, but these days it's raising the
Raised,
letters,
Right.
you are achieving a look that is in line with the Solvang aesthetic and the more hand-done
Yeah.
look. And I just kind of wanted to mention too, just briefly, I don't know if you know the history of the house that you're going to occupy. It's the only remaining original structure of the houses that lined what was then Lompoc Road and is now Mission Drive. So maintaining some of the, maintaining the old world aesthetic enhances your historic building that you're occupying. And I would urge you to consider that. And I think at the same time, you would be a win because you would have a sign that's more readable. I also would encourage you to think a little bit more about your color palette. In our printed packet, we have a yellow that does not match the color swatch, but is more of the ochre.
I apologize. There's the printer.
Well, that's okay. We have the color
Yeah, that's
swatches
why.
for a reason.
Yes.
Could I borrow your swatch?
You bet.
Mine's here somewhere. And I show this because the color that printed out is a little deeper, more earthy tone, which is so typical old world Danish. And there's a depth to that. And along with that, your sign that is the bonsai tint with the charcuterie on white, if you chose a deeper color, that would also become more legible
Yeah.
for your sign
Sure.
and more in keeping with the old world aesthetic that we're doing here in Solvang. So I feel like it's a win. It's a win for the aesthetic of our town. It's a win for your business if you would be open to considering some modifications on your color palette.
Yeah, absolutely. If I don't know, Raphael, if it's possible to bring up the photo of the swatches again. We did the swatches on there, and my wife was, because the idea is this a little bit brighter, it's Mediterranean, just happy. It needs to be happy, but obviously maintaining the essence of the Danish. And I'm Dutch, not Danish, but have.
So you get it.
Yeah, I get it. So I'm very much in line with this and love that I live in this town. But it came out not that swatch on the
Right.
wall.
Yeah,
It came
so I
out
could
much
see that.
deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same with the bund. And so the idea was like, well, the body of the house, some way we picked the exact same color. That's why I outlined it in blue tape, because you couldn't see that I painted it. So somehow we did the exact same color for the body. So that's actually not that's the exact same color it's going to be for
Right.
the body.
Yeah.
But the trim did come out darker. If I choose the paint with that coat that comes in the bucket, the swatch and the printed pages didn't reflect the actual color that it came out. So if committee members would like to walk by and see that in
I have.
person,
Yeah.
be more than welcome. But I
Yeah,
believe it worked really well, and it was a little bit deeper. Same for the mint. We wanted something that just like pops a little bit and would only be the doors. Same as right
And
now.
your signs.
Well, the one sign.
Yeah.
The one sign. That just to have a little bit of a third 10% color there that just gives some definition and really beautify the space up for passerbys.
And the trim is the yellow.
The trim is the yellow, yes. Anything that's blue currently
Right.
would be that yellow. And again, that looks different in different light.
Of
we
course.
were standing outside,
We
we were
have
standing outside in
special
different lights and
light.
looking at it.
Yeah.
And so what it looks like right now here, maybe it's definitely lighter than it actually is out there. And I think you guys would be pleasantly surprised if you see the paint on this trim.
Yeah,
And
I
the
have.
creamy white
Yeah.
is really pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Thank you
color.
very much.
So my suggestion was just kind of making a little bit more earth tone, a little more ochre,
Yeah.
that more traditional, so not deviating a long way. And like I said, it was really interesting because here's your color sample. There's the printed page.
It's those printers, yeah.
But I think the printed page is a better example.
Yeah.
So-
It's somewhere in between those, I would say, is probably the real, but closer to the printed page.
So-
Is what actually is on the trim.
So that would be one of the suggestions I have. I do have a concern about a ground sign that straddles two different containers because I see that terracotta pot in a high-profile location as being too easy to hit, kick, pick up, do something that's, indirectly or directly intentional.
I don't know if in your pocket, in your page, you will see the La La Land sign there that's proposed. That is where we got the idea from the Grove in Los Angeles. And essentially, that portion that pot should stand on is obviously part of the premises, our premises. They moved the planters back because the cement there is uneven. So it didn't make sense to put planters there. It wasn't flat. So they literally, if you look at the borderline now, it's a Z. As they just kind of went around the flat part. And so that opens up some space for us to come outside. We don't have to come outside, but in that area, we just thought that if we did this with the pot plants and you put cement in the bottom, it's still on our property, it's not in the walkway, it put beautiful flowers around it, people would be able to see coming in from Santa Ynez's Avenue that our business exists there, because there is a big tree that also covers the sign that we're proposing that's going to be on the railing. So the sign's not going to be on the sign's not. We're not over signaging the space. There's not going to be any other signs other than what's proposed right now. So it's 4 feet. Speaking to the dimension, it's 4 feet wide, which is in the premises of the sign ordinance, and it adheres to the minimum height or maximum height. Excuse me. And it would just be a curve. It would be very much the same as the La La Land sign, metal backing, and again protruding. Exact same material for the letters that would have that faded gold as people come by would see it. on a white background. There is an outlet there on that space that's lighting the city's tree that we put in, or re-putting in rather. So the extension cord doesn't go all the way through our front door as the previous tenants. And that's outlet there was to, I guess they also proposed to put a sign there, and that was to light the sign they would have wanted to put there. And the previous, as far to them, said that the committee suggested that they can have it a permanent ground sign there, but they have to put it in their planters. And this is way back when. This is not relevant now, but I'm just saying that's why they had an outlet there. And but we haven't decided on any lighting for the sign.
Yeah, because I don't see any in the packet.
Yeah, so I didn't even think of that until I heard other people talking about it.
Can I just ask a quick staff question too? So a sign that is anchored in planters that's not permanent is within code?
Sure is. That's why we didn't say anything about it.
Okay, because I do have concerns about that. And of course, I think you are in this, you're applying at a time where we're in a bit of limbo.
Changing over.
In 6 or 8 weeks, there's going to be a lot of things that you are asking for that will no longer be allowed.
Okay.
Everything from a metal sign that's flat to a planter sign, to, the way the planter sign was put in there. So
But again, I want to remind the
that-
DRC that we are
working with what we have now.
correct.
So, and I think Brian made a very good point that we want to encourage and would like to have some assurance, ideally, that we're going to see signs that do have a dimensionality to the letters, not just the sign itself, but the letters stand out, and that they have that carved look. And that there's some security in the way the ground sign is installed. That doesn't mean it's going to be thrown through your front window someday, and I don't like saying that.
No,
but
I hope not.
We've
did,
seen issues.
I did submit a sample, and Raphael, maybe, I don't know if you can speak to it, but a sample of the little S that I gave, which is a small, tiny sample sign, just to see the faded gold. And that is what the sign looked like. It stands out. But that was a very small S, but that is what it would be, but it would be much bigger, and it would be much fatter, standing out. So he did see it.
Okay.
It's not flat.
Well, I've had all kinds of questions. Somebody else's turn.
Yeah, I do have a question about the awning. I mean, it's a very attractive front of your business. To me, it's more Mediterranean and less old world.
Okay.
And one of the things that stands out to me is the striped awning. I feel like it's a bit cluttered or noisy.
Okay.
I would love to see, that awning kind of match your color palette and just be a solid color.
Oh, we did, but it's definitely matching the color palette. We have been asking for color swatches for the last 2 months as we're trying to figure out what color their printers are printing on the material. And so we got pretty close. So it would be the same as the colors on the thing. So it's very specific to those colors. It is a Mediterranean brand. We are not doing stripes on the umbrellas. We're not doing stripes on anything else because we don't want to get tacky or cliche in any of that kind of sense. We want to keep very stable feet on the ground. The one aspect that does make it is the striped awning that we decided, well, it would look good. It's not crazy colors. Some people use pinks and greens. It's 2 yellows that's very close to each other. Right. So the one yellow is the trim and the other one is more faded with a slight mint green line in there. So it's tasteful, it's light. A flat colored awning, we can look at, but I would strongly request, I guess, a version of this that would allow us to be able to represent our brand the best in that space, because the building is built obviously beautifully Danish, and we're adhering to the trim and the colors and the flowers, and very much willing to work with the city and the DRC to get that point. Mm-hmm. But being a Mediterranean brand and that being a whole essence, we would love to see that awning with a version of stripes.
It represents beautiful summer, right?
It does, and it's kind of summer all the time. That's the name is Summer Bella. Summer is Afrikaans for summer, my Danish, Flemish language as well. So, it's the idea is to have it summer, even if it's winter. We would be happy, but we would do Christmas yellow. Our Christmas would be yellow, everything, yellow bulbs, Christmas bulbs, and it would be with the theme, but it would be Christmas.
Some of my concern is to do with precedent setting. when we have a striped awning, then we've got a new style that we're introducing, and we've got a precedence. Other comments from the committee? I'm not sure if we've reached any consensus on, the
It seems
color.
like there's been a lot of questions brought up from the base color of the buildings to the size of the locations of the signs. Is this something we can decide tonight?
It is something you can make a decision, or you can direct the applicant to continue to work with city staff and based on the comments and provide direction, and we can bring the item back to you.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. There's a lot of questions yet to be answered, and I don't think they can all be answered tonight.
Excuse me, can I make, if that is the case, we are looking to open just before Danish Days. I was hoping then, because there's so much work involved in getting that outside of that building, which is looking terrible right now, and I'm just having it sit there like that because I'm waiting for the colors to be approved. Is there a way to just look at the colors at least and get that approved so that we can go ahead and get the beautification of the building in place? The signage you can always put on later.
I agree that it looks, I was just there this afternoon.
Yeah,
and
Yeah, likewise.
It looks,
It looks terrible, and they didn't,
Looks in transition.
it looks in transition, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, other than, the outside of the building is my main concern. Even the upstairs patio and the old, it's falling apart. And so we would like to change that and get that going.
is that possible, Raphael, to do a partial?
Yeah, it is most certainly possible. Yes, we can split that out, and we have done that actually before. So.
Yes. So onto colors. I would really like to encourage that the yellow turn into more of an ochre, deeper yellow. Is that something that we could work with staff and applicant? And it's
More-
like the color that's on the printed page as opposed to the paint swatch.
Yes, I mean, if it would help, if the color right now on that trim that we painted is good enough, if it's the color, which is not the swatch, then we can go ahead and we can go ahead and get it done.
I don't think that was the case. At least it wasn't when did you go look at the actual physical? Yeah, the swatch seemed
Yeah.
very,
Today.
yeah, it seemed a little more on this line
Okay.
and less on that. Did you take a look at it too,
Not
Shar?
today.
Okay. So if you could compare the color that you have to the color that's here and work with staff to bring it out to the more of the yellow ochre that is so traditionally Danish, I would love to encourage you to consider a deeper green. If I'm not ready to mandate that as part of it, but I would like to encourage you and that you could work with staff on that. I think you would be happier with the contrast that could be seen on your door and your sign
Yeah.
with the deeper color.
Okay.
Can we make how do we motion that? Do you want to take a
I make
stab
a
at it?
motion that we approve the three colors, the body being your warm white.
Yeah.
I think is great. And if you could take what Esther said and warm this up,
Okay.
to the old world Dutch
Yeah. I'll do my
color of
best, yeah.
the ochre. right?
Danish.
Danish.
Danish,
Danish.
sorry, but you're Dutch.
It'll be
Yeah, I'm
Dutch.
yeah, but
Danish Dutch.
And then also with the green a little bit darker. I mean, I'm not as overly concerned about the green because it's just the
Green.
door.
just the doors. Yeah.
So, and it is really pretty, but
It's the door and the sign, and that's why I thought, even
Okay.
the print
you
is.
want to be able to see it, I guess, and
That was my thought
Right.
on it, is that a
Less
deeper
minty.
contrast
Yeah.
of green would make your charcuterie
It would-
and your door
It
stand
would
out.
work. So those signs, the two hanging signs, being the two spots for it, is when people are in the property and the big sign is lured them in. It's not necessarily for people to be in the park and see, oh, they have a charcuterie market, but when they're in front of a building. But
Oh.
I see, and definitely I will take it in consideration. We can get that to a little bit of a deeper green. Still happy green.
So we've got, we're doing paint, and we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
No second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Could I hear the motion again?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got a little lost there.
I can't imagine why.
I make a motion to approve the colors, the body being the cream white
As presented.
as presented, the yellow being a richer, already know, Danish, of
Yep,
course,
Danish.
color. And then if you can just darken this up a little bit, not be so minty green in
Okay.
color. That would be my recommendation,
And to work with staff on finalizing those colors so that you can move forward with your project.
Okay.
sure,
So,
And
okay.
return
very helpful.
with revised signage.
Yeah, I thought we were going to do a separate motion, but if you want to tag that on,
Tag
okay,
that on.
tag it on.
And
Are you-
return with the revised signage.
Yeah, and then the awning, is that something I can also get ready for the 18th? Or what? Yeah.
Are you ready to approve an awning? I feel like we need to put it together with the whole package with the colors.
I like
awning
it.
too.
Well,
Well, see, I approve, I like everything that we've just moved, except the awning, but, so I would vote yes for everything but the awning, so would I?
so let's not do the awning now. We can do it now in a separate motion, but
Okay.
we're not going to do the awning as this motion.
We'll
So
make another motion for
Okay.
that.
is that workable? Looking at Raphael lifting his eyes.
It is. If I would suggest that the awning would actually wait until we work with the applicant to finalize the color. That
That's
just
why I
makes
wanted to
the-
wait.
The most sense.
Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't have to do with stripes or colors, I mean, stripes or design at this point, but rather the color that's pending.
So if I get the colors honed in, then I can do the awning as presented? Is that,
No,
no? Oh,
no, that comes back with signs.
that comes back to the signs?
Yes.
So if we're opening, I'll just have the awning frame?
You'll have to work with staff on that one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a
Again,
motion.
so our motion is to approve the building colors, not the awning or the signs.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
they,
thank you.
all those return. So I've got a motion, I don't know, did we get a second?
I second.
Okay, all right. Roll call vote, please.
Member Melissa Bates?
Approve.
Member Getz?
Approved.
Member Johnson?
Approved.
Vice Chair Boyd?
Approved.
Chair Esther Jacobson Bates?
Approved. Thank you, applicant.
Thank you.
Committee, appreciate it.
I think
Thank you.
wish you much success and look forward to seeing it. And, you come to Solvang for the Danish. Thank you for embracing that in your concept and your execution. Okay, wake up out there in the chambers. We're going to move on. We're going to be on item 4C. Staff, please introduce that.
Discussion and provide comments for a pre-application for a potential glamping resort located at 1783 and 1793 Mission Drive, APN 139150017 and 027.
Thank you, Maddie. So before you this evening is a pre-application for a potential, not proposed, a potential glamping resort / transient outdoor lodging resort. So just a little bit of background. This is a pre-application, so it reviews for a potential glamping, as I've mentioned, outdoor transient resort utilizing Airstream trailers at the old lumberyard site located at 1783 and 1793 Mission Drive. The previous proposals that have been on the site have included a hotel and residential uses and other mix of uses. Those proposals were ongoing during the city's general plan update process. However, those proposals have since been abandoned, and the site was rezoned to village mixed use in total from both a mix of high density residential and the former TRC zone. So pre-applications are a little bit different than formal applications, which have been the first two this evening. The DRC is to provide direction to the applicant, so basically what has happened is the applicant has submitted this pre-application. City staff takes a look at it, reviews it against the municipal code. We also review it for bigger ticket infrastructure items such as water and sewer and potential public right-of-way improvements, etc. We give the applicant letters, typically depending on various lengths. In this instance, that is a part of your attachment, identifying potential linchpin items to any formal application. Sort of as this reminder to to both the DRC and audience members who are out here in this meeting or watching, no decision will be made this evening. So what that means is the DRC is to provide comments to the applicant to help formulate a stronger initial application. But this application, a formal application, will need to return to city staff. They are required to obtain what is called a development permit, and that development permit needs to be seen by the DRC, and then the DRC will need to recommend out to the Planning Commission as a part of the recommendation. The Planning Commission is the ultimate decider of the application. So again, this is located at the old lumberyard site at 1783, 1793 Mission Drive. It encompasses the two parcels that are out there. This is between Mission Drive and Maple Avenue. It is directly adjacent to the old courthouse as well as the current senior center project that is under construction. So the potential project is a redevelopment of approximately 2.19 acres. The development is of proposed potential Airstream hotel consisting of 31 Airstream accommodations and a conversion of the existing residence into 2 hotel suites. Remodel of an existing 3,100 square foot commercial building into a bar hotel lobby. That's that fronting building that's on Mission Drive. Demolition of structures including 650 square foot garage and other structures. The applicant is proposing or potentially proposing a pool and spa area, guest amenities, parking areas, landscaping, and associated site improvements, including construction of a 720 square foot restroom shower facility with a lookout tower. So as far as zoning goes, that was one of the main questions the applicant had asked city staff to review, and we did review that. It is potential use is considered a lodging, which does not meet the definition of either a mobile home park, a trailer park, etc. As a mobile home park or a trailer park, those are considered long-term housing, whereas this is a transit use. So again, the definition of lodging in our code is a facility with guest rooms and suites with or without kitchen facilities rented to the general public for transient lodging of 30 days or less. This is what is being proposed. Facilities include hotels, motels, inns, guest suites, bed and breakfasts, etc. So again, this is what closely aligns to that. There's nothing in our code that prohibits this type of use. And again, it'd be very clear that this is not permanent housing, which is greater than 30 days, and that comes with a whole different subset of things, and it is actually not allowed in the Village Mixed Use District. So as mentioned earlier, we did have a pretty lengthy letter that is a part of your packet. Some of the sort of higher points that we have pointed out is that we propose that the applicant further refine the project to ensure consistency with the architectural character, design themes, development standards set forth in Design District 2. I know we mainly discussed Design District 1 in this body, but this is actually number 2, which is the Mission Design District. This is directly from our general plan. We also have told the applicant to refine the landscaping design to ensure consistency with the character that is proposed, as well as the underlying Mission Design District. We are looking for a lighting plan to demonstrate dark sky compliance. City staff does have some serious concerns with the lookout tower and that its design is not interfacing well with the Mission Design District. And then we have notified the applicant would require an exception request for the location of the parking, because the parking is currently located in the front. As a part of our objective design standards, we do look for parking on the side or in the rear of the building so that buildings come up to the front. This is a bit special use. It's a little bit less intensive. Well, not a little. It is extremely less intensive than what was previously proposed. So it is something city staff would be open to. However, we are really looking at the DRC to provide some really concrete direction this evening in regards to that one item. And then a slew of public improvements are required. So I don't want to get into that as a part of the pre-application, but those include a water study, sewer study, in terms of calcs, as well as additional public improvements such as sewer, curb and gutter, or curb and gutter and street frontage improvements. Again, those are included in our letters. So typically we will go into the details of the project, but again, since this is a pre-app, this is more of a show for the applicant. So the applicant is on the line. Philip Stevens is representing the applicant this evening. And so he is here to present his end of things, and he's going to walk you through a presentation of the site. And then from there, we will we'll close our presentation, and I strongly urge that the DRC have that discussion with the applicant, ask questions of city staff and the applicant, and from there, open up to public comment. So with that, I will turn it over to the applicant for their presentation.
All right, so questions of staff come following the applicant's presentation.
That is correct.
Got it. Thank you.
Greetings, DRB. This is Phil Stevens with Land Concern. I'm representing the applicant. And one quick question for Raphael. I raised my hand a second time on a different screen to share. Is that possible to activate those two screens?
Typically, we don't allow people to share the screen. Do we want to make an exception here?
Yeah, yes, please.
All right.
Is it possible to share the screen that I have my hand raised on?
Yes, we typically do not allow screen share, but you are the applicant. This is a pre-app, so we will make the exception.
Okay, super. Is there a certain technique?
We're getting there.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, can you ask him to request to share?
Can you request to share, please?
One more time.
So I am hitting the share button and it says it's not turned on.
It's a request to share. There we go.
Success. Screens and share. It should be coming up. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, before you this evening is a reimagination of the former Skite Lumberyard located at 1783.
Could we ask you just a moment, just to pause a second? We don't have it on our screens in the room for our people here. Hold on a moment. Okay, start again. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Right. So this is the former Skite lumberyard. Is there two screens? Shared? Perfect.
Take 3.
You all are legends for persevering through the technical difficulties. I appreciate it. Are we good to go?
Please proceed.
Thank you. So we are reimagining this former lumberyard site as a new hospitality destination that respects the site's history while giving it a new life within Solvang. We are proposing here tonight a auto camp style hospitality and glamping experience using high quality Airstream accommodations within a thoughtfully designed landscape setting. As Raphael mentioned, this is not a residential trailer park or traditional RV park, but it's a curated hospitality project where the Airstreams function much like individual hotel rooms, supported by common amenities, gathering spaces within a strong landscape framework. From the public realm, this project is intentionally designed to feel appropriate for Solvang and the Mission District, where the Airstream accommodations are set back and screened from Mission Drive through landscaping and site design. Let me flip to those pages here. Here we are. This is a view along Mission Drive, looking at the existing buildings there with some of their reimagining, some of the additions to create new public-facing entries, and then some of the parking in the front behind the existing oaks, with some stucco and tile elements that are relevant of the Mission Design District. The public-facing property is the Barn Hospitality Building, which draws from its existing character and which is naturally similar to the Mission Design District ethos, with the arched windows and stucco applications and hand-stenciled lettering, pedestrian-friendly interface, and a visitor experience for tourists and folks coming to stay at the auto camp style buildings, rather the accommodations. And then our goal is to create a landscape-driven boutique hospitality destination that complements Solvang's tourism, economy, and character while keeping the Airstream component discrete and integrated into the site rather than visually dominant. I have a 3D model here as well that gives a little bit of a fly through. Let's see, I need to slow down. Yes, very choppy. There we go. Some of the preserved trees, some of the new trees, and some of the existing building elements there. As you know, the acoustical challenges that this project faces is not insignificant. The road noise along Mission Drive is a real challenge. And so we've taken that into at least initial accounts with the glass screen wall looking into the patio, and with the and then with the fence along the parking edge that separates and screens the Airstreams, also functioning as an acoustical barrier in order to create a more serene setting within the auto camp, as well as screening the views from the public-facing passersby of the facilities within. I would like to go ahead and pause here and ask for any feedback that the DRC might have. And there's other details within the project, but it seems like the public-facing aspects of this project are paramount. So I'll go ahead and yield the floor back. Thank you.
Are you ready to tackle this, or you want him to continue? I think that it would be better if you continue and we see your presentation. Thank you for the opportunity, but let's move forward.
Thank you kindly. All right, we'll go to the plan view and have a look at the site and how it lays out. So as we were seeing from our vantage point along the street, we were taking a look at the project as it faces onto Mission Drive. And then this building here would function as the lobby, and then this would be the bar zone with a patio that opens out between this space and the existing cottage, which would be used for additional guest rooms. Adjoining that space is additional patio zones, and then the common area amenities that are for the folks who are having a vacation and staying at the Airstreams. This would be a pool and a spa amenity for those guests. We have an interior parking lot that functions as service for the Airstreams, and then we have more of the public-facing parking lot that interfaces with the bar, and then the nighttime closure of the gate there, the vehicular gate, would provide some acoustical buffering for folks who are staying at the Airstreams. We have a loop walkway that goes through the site, and then that takes us to this next page where the Airstreams continue into that loop walkway and carry around the site. There's a couple different sizes of Airstreams, and they're quite well apportioned on the interior. You can see this floor plan here. There's a soft seating zone with a kitchenette. There's shower facilities and toilet facilities, and then flexible bed space towards the back, and then a handful of smaller versions that have similar but just reduced accommodations and beds. Here's some of the styling that the camp takes some of its cues from, where we have a lot of permeable surface, gravel pathways, wood decks, and casual environment with lots of green for each of the Airstreams to live within, off of a common pathway for folks to meander through as they go from spot to spot. Our plant palette focuses on climate adaptive and native species. And we start to see some of the spaces, the walkways that lead to some of the various trailer spots, some of the private spaces of each, some of the parking for the Airstreams, for the folks who come in and park and then head to their spot. Access to the bar side, and then access to the pool side. And then some of the concept renders for the interior of the pool space with the sun decks, a feature wall for the spa, and additional trees. And then looking back now, we're seeing the bar zone and then beautiful hills across the valley, next to the Mission, Mission is sort of at 2 o'clock to where we're looking. And then some early concepts for how fire pits, soft seating, and more of a hospitality setting could combine together between the existing cottage here and the lumberyard building here to create an activated space between them. And that concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Raphael?
We can open it now up to questions of the applicant and city staff.
Do you want to do that, or you want to hear some from our people in the audience?
I'd like
in
to
the
hear public
in the room. Yeah, I'd like to hear public comment first. So let's go ahead and open public comment. I do have one speaker slip here. I'm going to start with that. We have Dennis Beebe, please, and then if there's anybody else in the room, we'd like to invite you up as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dennis Beebe, Solvang, and I want to thank the chair and the committee members for their continued support and service to our community. Perhaps you remember this old joke. It begins with something like, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, and it goes on, but I think you know the punchline. So I'd like to adapt it to this project tonight. If it looks like a trailer park and it gleams like a trailer park, in spite of the categorization of a lodging, it's a trailer park, and I find it completely inappropriate for downtown Solvang. This trailer park is within a stone's throw of the Mission. It's within a block of the Mermaid Fountain. It's inappropriate. It's in the Mission Design District. We heard that earlier. And my fingerprints are on the general plan, as well as others in the room. And we kind of conjured up the Mission Design District to ensure that the structures, new and developed structures, would be compatible and consistent with the Spanish Revival style, like the Mission and like the Vets Hall. And this project is in the Mission Design District. I don't argue that it apparently meets code for lodging, but it sure doesn't meet the design standards of the Mission Design District. The Mission Design District say new developments and structures, buildings, walls, and other features must meet a certain design standard that reflects Spanish Revival style. It didn't have any exceptions. There were no exceptions for rolling stock, like trailers, or water features, or towers. So this project does not meet the basic standards of the Mission Design District. That's clear. So I'm going to ask that the DRC recognize that this project does not meet the standards of the Mission Design District. And I'd like to ask the DRC to recommend that the code be changed so that any future idea that a trailer park or lodging can be housed in the Mission Design District or in the adjacent Village Area Design District. That should be prohibited, or some trailered park or equivalent. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. I think I see somebody else with a slip. Come on up. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Susan Bellany, and I live a few blocks away from this glamping potential, I'll call it, because that's what's not proposed. And thank you for the opportunity to share my concerns. Quoting the general plan, it says that the Mission District is intended to provide cohesive, high-quality development that reflects traditional California architectural design and history that's distinct from the Danish-themed village area. Then it says, new development in the Mission Design District will focus on the Spanish colonial revival architectural style. I don't know if this is intentional, but unfortunately, none of the new trailers or any new architecture in the drawings is Spanish colonial design. Do they just put place buildings in, or would they sometimes pay attention to the requirements? I don't know. So I don't see that 31 mid-century design, shiny aluminum Airstream trailers have anything in common with Spanish colonial revival architecture. I've also heard that the idea that Airstreams might be exempt from the mission-style design goals are because they're portable, which doesn't really make any sense to me. So if this is true, could you please explain it? Is it possible that the general plan omitted design criteria for trailers because they never considered the categories of campgrounds or trailers used for hotel rooms? This glamping potential is along the entryway to Solvang, and the general plan says, quote, major entrances to the city provide visitors with first impressions of Solvang and represent opportunities to enhance the city's identity. These entry points should include special features designed to offer a sense of arrival to the community. The new development proposal near these gateways should make positive contributions to these first impressions of the city. The eastern gateway on Highway 2246 near Alamo Pintado is an opportunity to create a more welcoming statement. Lastly, I have 3 questions. The first one is, does a campground with any kind of trailer design, a park trailer, for example, like they'd have out at Flying Flags, would that fulfill the visual goal of a sense that you have arrived in Solvang with its distinctive Mission District identity? What is the purpose of the observation tower? Is it a welcoming addition to the entrance of Solvang? Unfortunately, to me, it looks like an Old West military fortress tower that isn't part of the history of the San Ynez Valley. Lastly, the drawings appear to mix and match traditional California architecture of the existing house with mid-century metal Airstream trailers, an Old West fortress-looking tower to me, and contemporary pool architecture. I think you have to decide, does this concept plan have what it takes to be a cohesive, high-quality development? Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Next, come on up, Louise. Yeah, now please introduce yourself and make your comments.
Hi, I'm Louise Smith. I live in Solvang. I am an avid camper. I'm a tent camper. I'm not a camper. I guess this is a crazy question, but I'm kind of concerned about waste removal from each of the Airstreams. My understanding is that you have to remove that waste into some kind of like sanitary dump site. So will these individual Airstreams have plumbing connected to the ground, or will they have to somehow bring in trucks and hoses to remove the waste? So, I mean, maybe that's a crazy question, but just that's kind of what's on my mind. So thank you very much.
Any other speakers in the room? Okay, then we're going to go to Zoom. Do I see any hands up on Zoom? I think I do. Let's go ahead and start. I can't quite see. Is that Philip? Oh, he's the applicant. Hi, Philip. Okay, Nancy Bott, you're up. Oh, excuse me, Susan Bott, you're up.
Thank you. I'm Susan Bott, speaking as president of WeWatch. I question the appropriateness of both glamping itself and Airstream trailers for this location in the Mission District of Solvang. It seems important that any new development should be in the Spanish Mission design instead, as it is surrounded by the Spanish-style Veterans Memorial Building and the Mission itself. As a member of WeWatch's Save Our Stars committee, I appreciate that outdoor lighting would be dark sky compliant in keeping with Solvang's outdoor lighting ordinance and its effort to mitigate light pollution. Speaking of pollution, what effect would 32 fire pits have on the neighborhood? Not a good one, in my opinion. There are other considerations to think about. These include adequate on-site parking, safe access into and out of the development, especially when it's on the busy highway, 246, the lookout tower violating neighbors' privacy, etc. Please consider all of the factors public comment speakers mentioned tonight. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Do I see any other hands raised on Zoom?
Yes,
Oh, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, please hold on and we're going to get you up. Okay.
Chair Bates and committee members, Nancy Emerson, Solvang resident. I researched and commented on each of the applications submitted for the lumberyard site beginning in 2020. I appreciated the applicant's use of fully shielded outdoor lighting for earlier proposals on this site. Please continue doing that. Please use fully shielded string lights on the site with any kind of development. I'm glad to have an opportunity to comment before this proposed project becomes an application, because I am concerned particularly with its failure to use the required Spanish colonial revival architectural style for much of the bar lounge building, lodging facilities, the 2 hotel suites, and the lookout tower. The lookout viewing platform would destroy the privacy of surrounding residences and the new senior center if allowed. Airstream trailers, in addition to non-compliant architectural design, have other challenges. For example, the height needed on the perimeter walls would be 9 or 10 feet in order to exclude them from being viewed from the street. They need ADA accessibility, and the shiny surfaces reflect light. Fire pits need to be electric to prevent air pollution. I'm not sure the DRC considers circulation issues, but the addition of an entrance and exit on Maple Street, I feel, is needed for this project. I recommend that the developer make substantial changes before asking for additional advice or submitting an application. Please use your creativity within the regulations needed for this site's location. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, anybody else on Zoom there? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close public comment, although we may reopen that. But at this time, we'll close public comment. I have a staff question. I think what has surprised me the most about the project, since we knew it was a glamping project coming, is how we are looking at a project that doesn't include any of our design standards.
It's a pre-application, so that's sort of the point of the pre-application, is to say it doesn't conform to your standards. And which we made very evident in our comment letter. There are many things that are out of alignment with the Mission Design District standards, but again, it's a pre-app. So there are some applications and applicants that do a fairly good job of combing through the standards, and we get down to nitty gritty things. Others, they provide what they can, and this is what they're looking for. These comments, they're looking for and so we have provided those. So it's not whether it's why it came here. It's a pre-application. Again, it's not a formal application. This is a great opportunity to express to the applicant, and we have in our staff letter stated that it doesn't. There are many items and elements that don't meet the mission design criteria.
So my thought tonight, and because we could spend a very large amount of time here this evening going through this. My thought was that perhaps as a committee, we look at some very, very big items on this, rather than going into the nitty gritty, just kind of some overall bigger comments, and then ask that this come back for a secondary preliminary review where we would love to do that. It's out of the norm, but we are talking about a site that is very significant, very large, and it involves new construction along with existing uses. And I feel as though we need to have additional time, and that it would be very important for this committee to take a look at a project that is much farther down the line in complying with the design standard. Because for us to start going through item by item tonight, that just is very tedious, and I don't think ultimately it would be of significant help.
So normally we do one round of pre-app, and that's
Understood.
it, because the fee is set up so that it's a one-time thing, and we give you the kitchen sink. Conversely, as I've stated in the presentation, it is the applicants, the purpose of this is to not only hear from city staff, which we've done through a letter, but also from the DRC. They've heard comments from the public, and really it becomes a function of the applicant to hear loud and clear what is being requested of them. And at a formal app, it is expected that they come back and make a significant amount of changes. And nothing to say that that formal app can't, as a part of round one, which can come to the DRC, which I think gives you the ability to make the comments further and help adjust as a part of an application that is more than likely going to be deemed incomplete on the first round, because it's very rare for applications to be deemed complete on the first round.
Okay, so I guess it kind of goes to, is it more helpful to be giving input when it's not as far down the line in the design project? But let's hold that thought and return to that, and let's kind of start
Can I ask-
digging into some of the bigger,
A question of staff. The alcohol permit, is this, I'm a little confused that this project includes alcohol. And how is that relevant?
We are not the purveyors of the alcohol beverage control. The state of California is purveyors of said licenses. So that is a great question for the applicant. Ultimately, in the end, can the applicant obtain the correct type of liquor license? Is classed, what is it? I want to say it's a 47 or 48.
Right.
Those are very, very expensive, and those are ones that aren't connected to a kitchen,
Right.
where you derive your primary sales from alcohol and not food.
Right.
They have the typical, class, was it 44 or 45? I don't know the numbers offhand, but the ones that derive where restaurants are the primary sales and they have a bar on the side. And even then, those aren't cheap either.
Right.
So we don't look at that from our perspective. We look at it as, is it an allowed use? Is it a conditional allowed use?
Right.
A bar is an allowed use.
Right,
And stop. That's it. So that's all we look at.
okay.
Let me make one comment on kind of a major point, as Esther said. If these 31 Airstreams were replaced with stick-built Spanish-style bungalows in the same locations, I don't think the controversy would be anywhere near what we're hearing so far. It would comply a lot better with the mission design standards in that they could be Spanish-style bungalows. It would take care of a lot of the questions on sewage removal, for lack of a better term, that kind of thing. So that's one comment. and I unfortunately have to leave in about 10 minutes. The other ones, just to get them out there, because I might not have another chance, is the swimming pool right next to residential houses. I would not be real happy if that was my house. I think you can, if you're at this stage of design, where it's really preliminary, you could put the swimming pool on the other side of the site next to the Veterans Hall and upset a lot fewer people. I'm not real happy with the watchtower either. And the last thing and major point that I want to make is on the wall along Mission Road. In the drawings we have, it's just plain white stucco with some wood inserts. You could put a little Spanish tile roof on a little cap on the thing. You could put some ceramic tile mosaics on it here and there. You could put pilasters on it, all of which were in staff comments. I think it would make that wall a lot less of a problem than just a big blank white wall. Thanks.
And just really quick, to put the sewer and water to bed, they would actually connect to the city sewer system. So just to clarify, there'd be no pumping trucks, nothing. Which again, in our letter by your utilities department was very clear. We need some sewer calcs, we need some water calcs to make sure that works.
I know exactly what you're saying. Also, speaking as somebody that's pretty big, a shower in an Airstream is not real conducive to a nice shower. And I see they have a shower building here. The shower building has 5 showers in it. There's 31 sites here. That's going to get a little crowded.
Who's next?
No, and again, it seems like it's a lot, but again, if you've seen some of our pre-app letters, some of them stretch out 12 pages, and it's because we literally give them the kitchen sink. So the comments are very much welcome. Do not be, as I mentioned in my email before this meeting, that is the purpose of this, is to create that dialogue and point those things out, as you had mentioned. So.
Esther, I have a question. As far as format for this next part.
Yes.
Should we just each discuss our misgivings, or do you want to lead it point by point?
Well-
I feel like it's cleaner to just say, I got these 15 things I hate.
I think that whatever you would like to do, I mean, we can do it, I have a thing, perimeter walls, and this is using city staff, perimeter walls, entry gate, pool, spa, landscape, and we can go down it that way, or we can do it, individually with your list. What's your preference?
I could take notes as we go, if you'd like.
Well, and they're doing that.
Are you
Because
doing
this
that too?
all has to be turned into the applicant.
Yeah, and for previous pre-apps, we actually went committee member by committee member, just for
Okay.
the couple that we've done. So
All right, well,
Well, Melissa, why don't you tell us how you really feel?
All right, so part one, the alcohol permit, it's a non-starter with me if I see that they have an alcohol permit, because of the way that they have to pull on and off of 246. If it's a camping area, that entertainment area can serve s'mores at night, it can serve breakfast in the morning. I do not see that alcohol is fitting. The tower, you could call it Jellystone Park, or you could call it a gulag. Either way, it's got to go. Again, I mentioned traffic on the Mission 246 concerns me greatly. The sequoias, when I lived in Santa Rosa, I had 2 sequoias in my backyard. They went from cute little trees to 60-footers in about 10 years. They're crazy. So no sequoias. Rain, there's no protection from rain if you're coming from those airstreams to your car. You're just going to get drenched. And again, the fire pits was, I think Nancy brought it up. I think propane might be okay, certainly not wood. So those are my issues, and I'm going to take notes on everyone else's great ideas.
Rich, do you have some more, since you have to scoot out? Do you want to
I have several
elaborate?
more, but the main ones I've already mentioned, so I think I'm good for right now.
Okay. All right, well, then, I'm not quite as organized because I have it put together in a little different way. But the design element, kind of just from A to Z, the the perimeter fencing from the street walls to the fencing along the other areas. The in and the out being only off of Mission, very near other intersections. And, some of us here have lived here a long time, and we know of not only serious accidents, but deaths that have occurred at the corner of Pine, and are concerned that this is only in and out off a Mission. Needs something back at Maple that's more than just the fire entrance. The parking, which I think needs to be addressed further. I'd like to have some more specifics, but I believe city staff is already on that. Landscaping to do a better job of screening with plants that are more fitting with the Mission style. And there are some guidelines in our general plan that are at least some suggestions there. Concur with Melissa on sequoias as not being appropriate, and relocation of the pool with fountains that, instead of being kind of this boulder type things, what exists at the Mission. It's nice cut stone with a aqueduct kind of feeling, with a fountain that has the Mission style that is so missing from this. Even in some of the color palette and finishes, I see a standing seam roof on a building here. I see a watchtower, which scares me from design perspective, from privacy perspective, and I feel as though it's completely out of character with the site, the design. Let's see, entry gate, I don't quite understand how that works with hours. I'm assuming it's kind of a pedestrian in and out. That's an interesting thing. On the upside, because I do want to say an upside here too, I think it's very clever use. We've got the slumber yard, not the lumber yard. You've kind of worked that in, and there exists some beautiful arches there in a much more American style building, but that can certainly be carried in a Mission style into the interior spaces. I am not a fan of glamping and Airstreams in any use in this district, but if this is a use that is conforming, I would like to see the screening be more robust, of appropriate style, to make it so there's very little visible from the street, and that is going to be nearly impossible, as Nancy mentioned, with the height of the... Yes, understood. Thank you, Rich. Let's see. Some of the hardscapes to be also reflective of the Mission era. I'm not sure bricks fit that, but maybe they do. I can't quite remember how we have that in the design code. Lighting, of course, being dark sky compliant. Nancy mentioned string lighting that has a canopy that protects it. I think there needs to be hours so that string lighting, which is often up in the air, isn't on all night. I have neighbors who have their string lights on till midnight every night, and I literally can't see the rocket launch because it's the same color as the string lights. So, being very thoughtful about how this project integrates into a residential area, a heavy traffic area, and utilizing the spaces that are occupied by the public during the daytime as maybe some of the areas where the noisier activities will take place, i.e. pool, and potentially, some of the gathering area. And if there's a bar, I am, again, not in favor of a full liquor license on site. And I do have questions about Caltrans approving kind of egress and ingress in the way that's shown, which I know will be addressed by other bodies. So that's just my dump. Okay.
Okay, I think I got it all.
And
Okay.
so next.
I'll try to make this quick. I actually think this could be a very interesting project. I'm all about the reuse of the existing building. I'm all about repurposing. I run a vintage market. I love that. They are similar to vintage trailers, which I do own one, but what I am concerned about is a lot of the things that our committee has already said. I'm seeing two different design languages here, the mission style with the main building and more of a contemporary look throughout the whole resort. So I really encourage a stronger Mission California vocabulary through the walls and gates and ironwork, the landscape structures and the common areas. I agree with the staff that the current gate doesn't have enough mission character. Could the entryway be redesigned with stucco like we talked about? And some appropriate ironwork and landscaping so that you actually know this project is part of the Mission Design District. I agree not to have a lookout tower. I don't think it's necessary. Also, the relationship to neighboring residences and the senior center. Is there more information about how this perimeter design protects the privacy and the quality of life of the adjacent homes? The landscape, could we see more pedestrian level rendering showing the landscape of the installation like at year one maturity, as well as, down the line? Agree nighttime lighting has to be compliant lighting. I agree about the bar not having one in that location. The pool spa design feels more contemporary than, the Mission District design. The fencing in the walls, I'm not sure how high the walls are going to be. I didn't see that in the drawings here, but the dark vertical fencing reads more contemporary campground. I'd like to see the perimeter treatment become part of the architecture. So that's about it for me. I don't want to be too redundant on what everybody else has said, so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Jennifer.
Since I'm the last one.
Yeah.
So many of you said pretty much what I was going to say. However, first and foremost, I do not believe in Airstreams. I do not like Airstreams. I don't ever want to see an Airstream anywhere near me or anyone else. They are overpriced. They are reflective of the sun. They will burn you when you touch them. They are just not conducive to looking like a very nice camper. Even if I was going to go camping, which I did all my life growing up, I would never go in an Airstream. So I don't know who chose that because they're overpriced and ridiculous. Number two, there's no need for a tower. Terrible. Number three, we need to move the pool. I would hate to be that resident sitting there out in my backyard listening to Marco Polo for hours on end. I will not do that. I think that's just terrible and it needs to move. I agree with the bar and all of that. If I was staying in that guest cottage, I would not want a bar next to me or a patio for that reason. There's noise pollution. Other than that, I agree with everything else that everybody else said.
Okay, well, and now that our presenter here online has gotten an earful, do you have any other comments you'd like to share with us at this time?
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Super. We, like Raphael said, we have some comments from their preliminary staff review, and then we have your helpful comments, many of which make a lot of sense. So I think it's to the design team to come back with some concepts that try to strike a better balance.
Thank you. I would like to ask if, again, what I started with, which is, would it be helpful to be coming back with the preliminary before you get deep in the weeds on design for a review? I know that this
Yeah.
isn't a favorite of the staff, but if that would be helpful to applicant, I think it would be definitely something this committee would like to see.
The applicant's always free to submit another pre-app and pay another fee, which again, if the more, as we tell applicants, the more information you provide, the clearer our guidance becomes. And so, they most certainly can go through another round. We do have a separate fee where it's just, planning, and we tack on a DRC review fee. So that way it's just us and not, because Public Works is, to be quite frank,
Understood.
Public Works, utilities, and fire comments are extremely straightforward.
Yeah. So I just want the
yeah.
applicant to know that invitation stands from our committee, because we feel as though there's such we'd like to see how this shapes up when it turns into a mission style, because we didn't get to see that today. Okay, well, then I guess we're going to continue here and go on to committee member comments. And I'd like to thank all those who provided comments, who are here in the chambers and online. Thank you for being interested and participating in this process. I encourage you to continue doing so. Okay, committee member comments. Committee member Bates, nothing down that way? Comments?
How do you really feel about Airstream?
I can tell you.
Okay, well then we're going to go on to city staff comments, please.
Thank you. And again, thank you for providing those comments as a part of pre-application. And I emailed y'all yesterday saying, hey, just throw it all out. And that's the purpose of the pre-app, is to provide those comments, particularly from the public and committee members. And with a project like this, it really does go a long way to help shape not only a redesign, but it also gives city staff the perspective of when something comes back in and we say, you know what, that didn't quite meet what the DRC had said. And so we're able to then take that and translate it to your staff report and be pretty clear, like these items didn't meet the initial comments from the DRC. So again, thank you all for that. You will be having a September meeting, so we do actually have 2 sign applications that I am working through. Hopefully, we do have, and I will be working with the applicant from item 4B, so hopefully that will come back to you as a part of that meeting. Sort of just a reminder, you do have a joint planning commission meeting set for September 8th, which is a Tuesday, not a Monday. Monday's a day off, Labor Day. And that will start at 5 p.m. There will be one item you will be discussing as a joint crew, and that with the Planning Commission, that'll be our sign ordinance. And then the Planning Commission meeting will immediately follow at 6 p.m. or once you have concluded, and it is hoped that recommendation is provided, again, based on the comments and feedback we have from the joint meeting. I've seen some preliminary comments. I have answers for y'all, so we'll include that in the staff report for both those items.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt for a second? I think, Melissa, you were at the meeting when this workshop, came up. Are you two able to attend? I'd
Yes.
like to see a good DRC.
Eighth.
Tuesday, September 8th, day
Yes.
after Labor Day.
Yes.
5
5 p.m., yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I believe I had everyone from the Planning Commission except for Commissioner Adler, and then I believe I've received everybody's response,
Yeah.
except for maybe you, Ms. Getz. I don't believe you have. That's what it was.
However, that might be changing as of yesterday.
Yeah. So if you can make it, great. If not, it's okay.
There's a good chance I'll be there.
Okay.
Great.
So,
Well,
perfect.
but we do have 4 of our committee members, so that's great.
Right.
I think it's really important, and I really encourage.
5:30, right?
5 o'clock.
5.
We'll start
Yeah.
at 5.
Here, right?
Yes.
So I will not be able to make, though, the DRC September meeting
Okay.
on the 16th.
Right.
All right.
We've had a previous discussion for that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as ongoing projects, you see the progress happening over at 425th Street, which is great. It's good to see progress going. We are continually working from a city staff perspective with our lawsuit with 1704 Mission, but I do not have an update there. However, I do have an update on Wildwood. a settlement has been reached between the applicant and the neighbors. So the applicant will be retooling that project, and so what that retool looks like, we don't know. So we will, we're meeting with the applicant in a couple weeks, and then hopefully they'll get through what they need to get through. I believe the applicant had potentially mentioned doing a pre-app, which is an SB 330, not Builder's Remedy, but it's a different avenue of SB 330, even though it's the same thing law-wise. So very similar, we would offer up to come to the DRC for preliminary comments as a part of that. But we'll see where that goes. That's really up to the applicant. Aside from that, we are working hard as short staff as we are, cranking out building permits. There's the State of the City address that is happening at the next week. I believe it's next, Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's happening at the Cork, I want to say. I should
Yeah.
know. I'm going to be there.
Craft
Or Craft
House at
House.
Cork,
Thank you.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
Lunch included.
Lunch included.
With your
However, it is a city council meeting, so you don't have to purchase lunch. You can be there as a part of the council meeting.
Now you tell me.
Hey, it's not my
What?
jam. It's
Yeah.
not my jam.
I heard he paid.
So typically, State of the City is where the mayor and city manager get up and tell you all the good things of the state of the city. But in this instance, we're going to do something that's a little different. Mayor still speak, but each department head will get up and talk about the state of their department and the state of the city. So yeah, it'll be good. We'll have a good little talk, I promise.
Raphael, confirm the date on that, please.
That is the Thursday, the 27th. I should know this because it's the day after my daughter's birthday.
Next a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
11 o'clock at Craft House at Cork. But
Yeah.
you do have to register.
You do have to register.
Can't-
Yeah.
And apparently you don't have to pay.
But then you don't get a meal. So.
Oh,
you don't-
that's correct. Because
yeah.
they're opening it up so that anybody can come in. But I think then you do go in at 11:30.
Yeah,
think is what
I
it
believe
is.
so.
And that isn't just us. That's anybody in the community. If you want lunch, you need to pay.
Yeah, because it's sponsored by the chamber. It's not sponsored by the city. So, but
Yeah.
again, it'll be a good discussion to see where we're at with the city as we move forward with things. As far as projects go, we are working with an environmental consultant to finish up the Alisol barn. I do want to make a note of that was originally slated for this meeting to be reheard, but we did speak with the city attorney and resolved any potential issues that there might have arisen from conflicts of interest, and so we determined that there was no conflict of interest, so off they go. However, the development team did do a pretty good job of addressing the DRC's comments, and that packet will be the packet going to the Planning Commission and with the revisement. So I did offer up the ability for the DRC to take a look at that. If any concerned residents want to take a look at that, they're free to come to the counter. We'll be happy to show you those plans digitally.
Do you have the big plans in the office for that?
No, we just have digital ones. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Can you please send the link? You sent the nice email.
Yes.
And said you could send the link, but I would be interested.
Yeah.
Could you send
Yeah.
the link to all of us?
We'll do.
Because
I will certainly do. And like I said,
diving in.
they did a great job of addressing the DRC comments, and so, which is what we wanted to begin with. But they went ahead and did it, which is fantastic.
Could I ask, planning, what's the date that's coming to planning?
We don't know yet, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
working on the environmental review, which is why we don't have a date
Okay.
yet.
So it's still a few months off, it sounds like.
Potentially, yes. So,
Okay. Thank you.
And then we're working internally with applicants on is it a photo shoot officially? It's not a film shoot. You haven't been involved. Photo shoot. So I want to say it's the first Tuesday of September. There will be some closures going on throughout the village, but there'll be fake snow. It's a winter photo shoot. It's winter in Europe, but done here.
For our tourism?
No,
people?
it is not.
Okay,
It is a
thank you.
private company. It is
not
a major.
Hallmark, but-
It's a major national brand, and so.
What
anyways,
day is that?
Yeah, I want to say it's the first Tuesday of September, but I'm not. We're still working with the production company.
And put out this. The fake snow.
Yeah, September 3rd is what we had.
Okay.
We're still working with it, but just note that there'll be a lot more activity with a lot of happenings and trucks and other things. So, yeah,
We're used to that. Back in the day, we had a lot of that.
It's a great opportunity. Obviously, this crew came by and scouted us, and it's a great opportunity to show who we are once again. And so it'll be interesting how the end product turns out. So
Are they
with
going to
that,
find the tunnels?
The non-existent.
Non-existent
I cannot even
tunnels,
begin
no.
to tell you how many people have reached out to me. Media has reached out to me. It's
no
like,
tunnels.
Yeah, well, it's still going around.
All right, that will conclude my update.
I wanted to come back because I did have just one comment that I thought of as you were talking. At the city council meeting, right, when we decided on the workshop?
Yes, or
I was-
planning commission.
Planning, okay, thank you. Melissa joined me and we both attended the planning commission meeting where the sign ordinance was up for discussion. And there was, public comments made. Amongst the comments, I made comments representing myself, not the committee. Although they asked me to represent the committee, I declined to do so. But the upshot was I asked if we could have a workshop that gave us the opportunity for dialogue between both planning and DRC to iron out, because the sign ordinance is this close to being done. But it still has some areas that I really felt strongly needed to be looked at, and so did some of the planning commission. And then there's also people on the planning commission that can give input at a workshop but can't actually vote on it. Am I correct in saying that, Raphael?
I do not, that's a discussion I'll have with city attorneys.
Okay, thank you. But at any rate, it's the opportunity, and I really encourage you, it takes a long time to go through all of it. I've probably now spent, 10 or 12 hours, and I'm not through everything. So please set aside a little chunk of time so that when we come in, if there's things, because we don't have a long time to spend in it at the meeting, although I think we have as long as we need. The workshop. The workshop. And I'd also like to request at the workshop, at times there's been people down there and people up here. Can we do it where we set up, are we on, is this being recorded and all that?
Yes, it's going to be recorded.
Can we be able to utilize space in the chambers so we can all sit together for the dialogue?
We will have to look into it. I would say more than likely we probably won't be able to do that.
Can
so
we use this?
These would
and
be,
this?
yes, that's typically how we've done it before.
Okay.
So,
It's a little awkward, but at least we have the ability to see somewhat face to face this way, because it doesn't work otherwise. So if you will please consider that. We've had workshops in the past where it's been out there, but I also know that it's been difficult to manage to record. Okay, that's it for me.
Raphael confirmed that it's the 17th for DRC next month?
yes.
Oh, 17, okay. I
Wait,
thought we just-
16th? Oh, sorry, 16th, sorry.
16.
Yeah.
16th is a Wednesday.
Oh, no, but
17th.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
17th.
That weekend.
So it's the
I just
date-
know it's a quick production turnaround for us, simply because we have a planning commission packet and everything else.
It's
Yes.
a regular
third-
Thursday.
Yeah, it's just coming early, so.
Well, and it's the Thursday before Danish
I will
days.
not be here.
Yes, she's going to be ironing her Danish costume.
Among other things.
And that I do know. Okay, with that, it is 7:22, and I call the meeting adjourned.